thing here looks like it should be almost done. There we go. We just need the build time. Fucking phenomenal. The little town's looking good. Look, 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 they're harvesting. It came in time. Great, great. Hello everybody out there in YouTube land, Noodle here, and today we're back again, back with a new playthrough. I think I'm going to do Banished for a little while. Maybe have a Banished weekend. Instead of doing a let's check it out for, you know, an hour, Banished is kind of a longer spanning game. It's one of those never-ending games, sort of like SimCity or like Minecraft is kind of never-ending. This is one of those city builder games that came out a while ago, and actually came out 2014, and I love it. I think it's great. People still want to add on to it, but instead of the game developers trying to please everybody, they just open it up for mods, so you can like do whatever you want with it. I haven't really tried any of the mods, but I have played just the original stuff, and I love it. So we're gonna go ahead and get started here. For those of you who've never seen Banished, it's a city builder game. It's set in a medieval time. You're a group of individuals that have been banished from a society or civilization, and you're starting over from scratch. There's no zombies, there's no enemies to fight, no nothing like that. It's literally just a city builder game, and it's very well done. So let's go ahead and start up a new place. Town name. Let's name it The Graveyard. Map seed. Yeah, that's fine. We're gonna want valleys. We're gonna want a medium-sized map. Climate fair. Disasters on. That's fine. Starting conditions. Do we want medium, hard? I usually like hard, but this could be the shortest recording ever. Let's go ahead and just go medium for the sake of this. Here are the different things. Okay, so when you start off with hard, a hard game begins with 4 families. So you're looking at roughly between 12 to 16 people. A small amount of clothing, food, firewood, and tools are provided, and then no seeds for farming are available. So you're literally stuck with like hunting and gathering to get your people through it. And you have less people, which means that they have less time to complete work. If you go on medium, the medium game begins with 5 families. So you're looking at anywhere between, I don't know, like 20 to 25 people. Clothing, food, firewood, tools, and construction materials are provided. A storage barn has already been built, and some seeds for fields and orchards are available. So they kind of randomize what seeds you get. So you could have nothing but apple seeds. You could have pumpkin seeds, or I guess pumpkins. Pumpkins don't have seeds. I guess they do, but pumpkins are a root. They are the seed. I don't know. How's that work? I'm not sure. All right, so I'm no pumkinologist. I mean, potatoologist. Did I say pumpkins or potatoes? I don't know. It doesn't matter. You know, the point is that you have a storage barn and stuff already built. So that's actually a fairly big advantage. And then easy is, you begin games with 6 families, large amounts of clothing, food, firewood, building materials, tools are provided, homes and storage areas have already been built, seeds for fields and orchards are available, as well as a herd of livestock. That's like way easy, trust me, it's super easy. I think I'm gonna go with medium. It's been a while since I played this. I'm not as confident with hard as I used to be. So let's go ahead and get into this. So what it's gonna do is it's gonna randomly generate us a world. Somebody started figuring out all the seeds and started mapping all the seeds, but I mean, you saw how long that seed listing was. Alright, so we're just gonna pause time first off, and this is Banished. It looks like we're on kind of an island here. Or an inlet. We have a big lake here. We got a big river here, which is great. This is fantastic. This is not so good. This is kind of taking up valuable real estate, and it looks like we're going to have to come over here. This looks like this is where the majority of our town's going to be. So this will just sort of be like, we'll call this staging area B, and then this will be the actual main town proper. Because we're going to need a bigger place for our town. There's a lot of flat area here. You can't really build on mountains, but you can build quarries, or not quarries, mines to go into the mountains, and they give you things like coal or iron, I believe. So just kind of go over the map really quickly. You have lakes, you have little streams, which boats don't tend to go down. You have big rivers, which you have trade ships that come by, and they will come by and trade you wares. You have different kinds of trees here that you can see. These are rocks. Obviously, you break them down for stone. And these jagged, darker rocks here, this is iron. This is what you will use to go ahead and make any kind of metal tools with. As your people break down the items, like they have logs here, they have firewood here that they make from the logs. You have iron chunks and stone. They're going to be their building materials. Now, the first thing that I like to do is go ahead and bring up my UI. It's all down here, but I like to do some other stuff. Like, okay, for example, let's see. Okay, first off, I really like to have an event log. This goes ahead and tells me anything that's been going on in my town. So if somebody gets born, somebody dies, somebody gets sick, somebody gets promoted, somebody grows up and becomes an adult, you know, it would all pop up on the event log, which is really good to track, actually. You don't really need an overhead map, although if you want to, you can, but I find it unnecessary. Let's see what else we have here. This right here, we're going to go ahead and keep this. This little thing here shows our supplies. So this is everything that we have here that's in a location that counts towards supplies. If it's just laying out in the world, like if nobody takes it to the supply hut, it doesn't count in here. This is actually another really good one that I like to have up. This is your professions. This will tell you how many laborers you have in total. I'm sorry. This will tell you how many, not how much your population is, but it will tell you, it'll allow you to assign, roles to different people. So for example, we have 0 gatherers out of 0. Well, when we build a gatherer's hut, this number will go up to like 3. So we'll have 0 gatherers out of 3. I can then assign people to those roles. Now, the thing with this game is that it doesn't assign a job permanently. Like, for example, if we look at you, this citizen, Lenny, she's a female, she's a laborer, she's 15 years old, she's got ragged clothing, she's educated though, which is really good, and she has no tools. Now, and that's what she's doing right now, is she's currently trying to find a tool. Let's say I want there to be a gatherer. Lenny will randomly get selected to be a gatherer. She can be a gatherer for a year, she can be a gatherer her whole life, she can be a gatherer for 5 minutes, or until a job is completed. So you can't just say, I want Lenny to be a gatherer. You can't do that in this game. You just assign how many people you want to fill that position, and then the town will go ahead and fill that position with those people. Now, when it comes to being educated, if you don't build a school, your next generation of people will be uneducated. Like, I think this guy is not educated. He's 3 years old. He's not educated. I believe this little girl isn't. Age 4, not educated. So when non-educated laborers grow up, they tend to perform their jobs slower and less efficiently. If people are educated, then they're faster at their jobs, and they do them quicker, and they have more productivity. It just kind of goes to show that you become educated in a job or assigned task. Now, the cool thing about Banished that I really like is that you can look at their time period clothing, and you can be like, well, they might be Middle Ages, and you see this guy with a backpack. It's like, maybe this is the future, maybe it's a post-apocalyptic world, maybe it's back in medieval times. Nobody knows. And it's left ambiguous like that, so you can kind of make up your own story as you go along. I often like to imagine that a zombie apocalypse has happened, and all these people kind of like fled and they left. See, in the beginning, if we start out with hard, you don't have this hut and you don't have all these resources. You literally just have like a little fucking cart that got pulled by a horse, and the horse is gone, and then that's what you're working out of, is this little cart. So I'd like to imagine that they took off with their supplies in a car, and then it broke down, and then this is where they were stuck at, and so they have to rebuild civilization without zombies, without the use of technology, without anything. But hey, that's just me. Let's go back to the UI. This is one that I also kind of like to have up, although we're not really going to be using this too much in the beginning. This will tell me, or tell the villagers, how many resources that I would like to have. And I don't want to go over this. Like, for example, fuel, 200. If I assign somebody to be a woodcutter, right here, woodcutter. If I assign somebody to be a woodcutter, they will continue to chop wood forever and eternity, and they will go through all of our logs, which can be bad. But if we set a cap of like 200 fuel, once they reach that cap, like let's say they chop, they have 199, and then they chop 5 more, and then it's like now 204. Because it passed 200, they will stop chopping wood. the shop will be considered closed, and that person will then be reassigned to another job, be a laborer, or they'll automatically default to be a laborer. And then, like, let's say somebody takes firewood, it dips down below, let's say it drops down to about 190, then that laborer will automatically turn back into a woodcutter and go back and chop wood until we meet our quota. This is also really good when it comes to coal, because you'll have miners, same thing, people, herbalists or food, or people who make clothing. You really want to limit how many resources you have, or else they'll fly through all your resources, and then you end up having a ton of, a ton of herbs, but you don't have any medicine, or you have like a ton of firewood, but you don't have any logs, so you can't build houses. So that could be an issue. All right, and I think that's it as far as what we have here. You can go ahead and click paths, and this will show the paths that citizens take between their homes and whatnot. You can see like the most common routes. So if you see like a bunch of people are like traveling down like this one little windy like little avenue right here, you could pave a road that goes through there, and it allows your citizens to walk faster down that road. If you notice that you build this really huge complex road, nobody uses it, then you can probably tear that down and use that for something else if they're not actually utilizing that road. But this kind of comes later on. I don't really actually use it that much. You can save camera locations for fast navigation. So for example, I can set this for like town B, and then I can set this for like main town, and then I can switch back and forth between these really easy, as opposed to me having to glide over. I haven't had to use that because I don't really get that far in this game. And then the only other thing that we have here is this one, which is increased priority. The way this game works is that you set tasks, and you'll see in a second, I'm going to set a bunch of tasks, and they go in a priority list from most important to least important. So sometimes you'll want to, like, make a road, but then you tell people to chop down firewood, and then everybody runs out and goes firewood, but everybody's ignoring the road. It's because the road has a lower priority than chopping wood. You can bump up that priority by clicking this, and it increases priority and basically drops it to the top of the list for them to do next. However, you never see what this list is, so you can only kind of tell them like, hey, this road is really important, we should probably work on it, and they're like, yeah, we'll get to it. So I don't really use it that much unless it's an emergency, like all of a sudden like we have to harvest the food and everybody's out chopping fucking wood. Hey fuckers, harvest the goddamn food, and then they'll run over and harvest the food. The rest of this stuff is stuff that you can do. Like for example, we can build a wooden house, a stone house, or a boarding house. Boarding houses are like really big like projects or apartments basically. It just basically provides a place for a homeless to live. This is really good late game. Some people try to build these in the beginning, but I find it's easier just to build houses in the beginning as opposed to trying to put all the resources to building a boarding house and everybody's living in like this fucking communal shelter. People get really sick in boarding houses too. You have different kinds of roads. You have dirt roads, stone roads. You can build a wooden bridge, which is good for like crossing like little rivers and stuff. You can also build a tunnel, which will allow you to tunnel through mountains. Let me see if there's an actual example I can do here. In a situation that we would have to tunnel. Okay, like for example, we wouldn't be able to build roads through here, but I think we can build a tunnel through here. But it's pretty limited. You can have mountainous maps. You have a valley map, so it's mostly flat. This is a really good example. Let's say we were here and we wanted to, put over here. Instead of me building a road going all the way around and like hugging the side here, we can just build a tunnel through this mountain here, and then people will go down through that tunnel. All right, so let's find our town again. There we are. I guess I had another closer one to home, like to here, but yeah, you dump out into the water and that's not good. Here we have our storage. So we have the ability to build a storage barn like we have right here. We have a stockpile. This right here is a stockpile, this brown flooring. This says that all of our loose resources are going to go there. We have a place to make a market, which is really good. I'll explain that later. And then a trading post, which, you remember when I said that ships come down the river and then we can trade with them? We need a trading post in order to start receiving ships. Then we have some town services. We can build a well, schoolhouse, which is going to be the top of our priority list, hospital, town hall, chapel, and cemetery. We have food production, all kinds of ranging food production. We have farms, orchards, pastures for raising livestock. We have fishing, a hunting cabin, which will hunt wild prey, and a gatherer's hut, and they'll go out and they'll gather berries and mushrooms and stuff like that grow naturally wild out there, like onions and stuff. Resource production, this is how we produce things. So for example, we have a woodcutter, a forester, which we'll get into those later, and we'll get into all this later. and then we actually have what we want our people to do. So for example, we want them to remove this building. We would click that, highlight the building, and then they would go and remove it. We can have them remove resources, which will remove all resources, which is exactly what we're going. No, we don't really need to right now. We have a lot of stuff. Let me move this. We actually have a lot of stuff right now. Okay, so I think the first thing that we're going to end up doing is we need to build houses. Your wooden houses each take 16 logs and 8 stone to build a wooden house. Your stone houses are more expensive. It takes 24 logs, 40 stone, and 10 iron in order to make that. And it's fairly expensive considering that this is early game. However, stone houses are probably, in my opinion, are what you really want to build. They take less firewood or less coal in order to heat the house. They heat more efficiently, and they're not really susceptible to fire, which fire is a huge concern in this game. If there's a fire and your houses are close together, which they will be, and shit will start burning out of control really fast. So first things first, we're gonna want to build some houses. So here we go. We got houses. You can go ahead and rotate the houses, I believe, by hitting R. Now, if you hit T, it rotates it the other way. And is it E? No. E rotates your camera. What is it? What is it? Is it H, G, F? F. Here we go. F changes the shape of the house. You have a lot of different houses that you can pick from, as you can see. Sometimes people like to keep all the same kind of house. I kind of like to vary it up a little bit. But yeah, so let's go ahead. We'll move our camera, I guess. No. We'll just do this. All right, so let's see. I want a bridge to connect here, so I will go ahead and I'll start putting houses like here. That'll work. Now you see that it kind of goes over a tree, so they'll come by and remove the tree, and as you can see, the house will automatically change shape. Now if you look at the green arrows, that's where the house is facing. That's where a road can go. As you can see, that red arrow is blocked on the left hand side. That means that it's actually going into the house structure. But if we do this, you see it just moves up one. This is where the road is. See, it's in the house. Now we can connect the road, so we can do it like that. There we go. And as you can see, it automatically changes the shape of the house. So we're going to go ahead and build 3 of these little houses here, just like that. And then we're going to set these guys to work. I didn't kind of go over this as the simulation speed. You have different speeds you can go at. This is 1-time speed, which is if you really want to slow things down and look at your people. As you can see, they're all gathering handfuls of stuff. But I don't play at this speed because it is way too slow. I actually normally play at 5 times speed. You can slow it down. You can pause it if you want to by hitting spacebar or clicking the button. And this can go all the way up to ×10 speed. As you can see, they're just fucking streaming along. Normally people will sit at ×10 speed when they have lots of projects they need to get done. They just need to pass the time quickly, and that's fine. Let's see, what are we out of? We are pretty much out of stone, which is a little disconcerting. That's fine, but they're going to go ahead and try to put as much stuff into these houses as humanly possible. So, for example, this one here has all the logs, all the stone, all the iron. It's just waiting for builders. Fuck, I forgot to assign builders. We're going to want 3 builders, and that's fine. See, we have 3 out of 6. It doesn't mean you have to max out the jobs. It just says that you can have up to 6 builders. So I'll have 7 laborers. Now, here's the thing. If you have somebody who's a builder, they will build things first. Laborers kind of do everything. They go out and they clear woods, they chop down trees, they break rocks, they bring the supplies back to our homestead. Looks like we got all the logs and iron, all the logs. We got half the stone and the iron. You don't have to really worry about rain, although that zoom in animation is really cool with the rain. You don't really have to worry about rain that much. Your people will be fine. But we do want to go ahead and assign these guys to start clearing out some stuff. So let's go ahead and have them... we need stone. So we're just going to specifically have them clear out stone. And we'll have them clear out this. Now, all these stone down here are going to be marked with these little yellow, like, X's, but they're like pickaxe with axes. This is stating that these all have priority to be chopped down. So now all the laborers will go out here and chop stuff down, and all the builders will come out here and start building this property. There we go. Looking good, looking good. As you can see, they just kind of come out here, clear out all the woods, all the stone and stuff, and start blocking it up. Then you'll have people come by, pick it up, and take it back. See? Here you go. He picked it up. There you go. They fill up their inventory first, which is nice, and then they take back the stone. And they'll come back over here and they'll drop it off here, and then as this gets put in there, people are like, oh wait, we need more stone for these houses, so they'll come by and drop off stone for the houses as well. I believe that all the houses have all the iron that they need, 10 iron, 10 iron, so they're just really waiting on stone. There we go, there was 6 more stone added to that foundation there, and now we have this house. People automatically move into houses, and as you can see, you have Talon, who's a male, age 12. You have Isabeth, who's 19, female. Woo, she's robbing the cradle. And then we have Marlena, who's a 4-year-old child. Maybe their 4-year-old child or just a child that's adopted. You can also see that they have an inventory as well. People will come over here to these stalls that has 1,700 potatoes, 30 iron tools, 3 hide coats. They'll come over here and gather firewood, bring it to the house. They'll come over here and gather food and bring it to the house. So that way they're not having to constantly go to the barn to get food. They have food in their house. If you have a very large area that's a bunch of houses, and then you have all of these barns on the outside, that means they will have to traverse the entire map to come get food and take it all the way back. This is where marketplaces come in. You can have a marketplace as a central stall. The marketplace people will actually go out and gather a ton of resources, bring them back, and then people, all they have to do is go to the market in order to gather their resources and distribute it evenly amongst themselves. I say evenly amongst themselves, these people are greedy as fuck, and they will take every last fucking apple that you have, so you're gonna want to be careful about that. But right now, our biggest priority is getting these guys some kind of shelter. So now that they're kind of getting their shelter down, we have 51 logs. We're going to want to go ahead and start getting some more of that as well. We'll let them go ahead and finish getting all this stone, and then we'll start clearing out the forest. A big resource of food that you're going to want is going to be some kind of wild prey and gathering. You can pretty much just live off of that, at least for a good long while. So that's what I'm thinking that we're going to end up doing now. Alright, let's go ahead and speed up time a little bit. We got ×2, we can do ×5. There we go. Everybody's out there living life to the fullest. Cutting down rocks and moving the rocks over here so that way we can build more houses. Here they go, let's start building another house. Who are you? You're Grantley. Great. Fantastic. Alright. We're also probably going to want to build a school. But I kind of want to hold off on building a lot of stuff because we said we were going to move over here to start building our place proper. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't want to build a thing over here, a school over here, and then have everybody have to come over here for school, and then you know everybody lives over here. There we go. All 3 houses are built, which is fantastic. Oh yeah, this up here, you might see like this little house with ×5. This means how many people are actually homeless. Homelessness doesn't really affect anything. Eventually it'll affect the health of the citizens, but what it mostly affects is their warmth come wintertime, because people can freeze to death. And since these people steal all the food out of here, as you can see we're down to 526. People who are homeless have to come here to get food. They can go visit people's houses to warm up, but they have to go here to get food. If all these people take all the food, then your homeless people don't have food. They end up starving, which is bad. So we're going to want to go ahead and get some food production up and going. It's late spring. Is it going to be too late for a field? What kind of seed do we have? I wish I knew. I forgot if there's a place that we can look to see what kind of seeds that we have. But I don't remember. Okay, well we're going to go ahead, and I know we have seeds, so we're going to go ahead and build a crop, a field crop. There we go. It's gonna be fairly large. because we have to provide food. There is a cap to how large your farm can be. I think it'd be 15 by 15, and then that's it. We're not gonna go 15 by 15, but we will go 12 by 15, which is fine. All right. Then let's see what we have. We don't. I can't pick anything just yet. All right. So now these guys, the next priority will be coming over here and creating this. All this really needs is for trees to get cut down, which is good because they'll cut down the trees, take the lumber, and then we'll go ahead and put the lumber into our pile here. We only have 51 lumber, so that is kind of an issue. So yeah, they'll come over here, remove the lumber, remove these rocks, which is great. All resources that we could use. Great, fantastic. We're also going to want an alternative form of food. So we're going to go ahead and build a hunter's cabin. Now, here's the thing with the hunter's cabin, and this is something that I think needs to be said. Hunter's cabins need to be kind of out in the wilderness. The more woods that encompass this circle, the greater that the hunting is going to be. So if we put a hunter's cabin here, they're not really going to be getting that much food. There's also deer that populate certain areas of the map. Like over here, these things will migrate and move on. But like over here would be a pretty good location for a hunter's cabin. Granted, we are getting some of the water up there and some of the mountain and below. But I think in a pinch, I think this will actually do. So let's go ahead and rotate it here like that. Let's do it like that. All right, and I know what you're thinking. Wow, that's really far away from the town. That's nothing. That is not far away from the town. So we're definitely going to want one of those, and we're definitely going to want one of these gatherers' huts. These gatherers' hut will allow. Okay, this is exactly what I wanted to talk about. These triangles right there say where we can place a road. Like that's directly in front of the building. As you can see, it's red roads and red first part of the building, right? That's because that first part of the building, that solid red line through our green there, behind our red arrows, that's actually where the road should be. So once the roads line up, you see, the roads are all green, the buildings are green, so that allows one road or one square in between our buildings, and that's kind of what we want to do. And that way we can run a road directly in between those buildings. Now out here, there's nothing more than like a little fucking blueprint right now. But that's fine. So let's go ahead and play. Oh god, I lost my civilization already. I spun it around. Alright, so now these guys are out here. They're clearing out the fields. And once these fields get all cleared out, almost done. There we go. Somebody take that stone, please. Thank you. Now we can say what kind of field we want this to be. Oh, we have corn and potato. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and get some corn going here. We can also adjust how many farmers or how many positions we have and how many farmers that we want to assign here. Now, as you can see, when I click up on this arrow, our laborer pool will go down because it automatically pulls the laborers out of their job here. So now we only have 3 laborers, we have 3 builders, and we have 4 farmers. We're going to actually go ahead and decrease the amount of farmers we have. We're only going to need about 2. Now it is early summer, so these crops are going to be kind of a shitty yield, but we're just going to need the food. Now these guys are going out here clearing out the space for our hunter's cabin, and then once they're done with the hunter's cabin, then they'll start working on the gatherer's hut. Biggest priority is beating this little clock here. It's early summer. Once it starts getting in winter, snow's going to start falling. Snow's going to start falling, that means you can't farm. It means food production is going to plummet. We need to get as much food and warmth as possible before winter hits. You're just kind of riding out the winter, basically. So if you're deciding that you're going to create lots of farms, that's great. But just remember that you want to harvest all your food before winter hits. Now, in the very beginning, if you do it right, I think we're going to have plenty of food, really. With these 2 items right here, they're going to be fully staffed. And the cool thing is that during winter, the farmers can't do anything. So you can remove the farmers, all 2 of these farmers. You can take them off and apply them to be a gatherer and a hunter. And then they'll go and help the gatherers and hunters produce food, which is great. And then when springtime rolls around and the winter frost cools off, then yeah, you can go ahead and put them back to being farmers. They'll come back out here and grow food. So there they are. They're sowing the fields. Or I guess they're not sowing. Yeah, they are. They're sowing the fields. There you go. And you can see some of our corn is already starting to pop up, which is great. Fantastic. Wait, you quit or you change jobs? No, you're a job. You're a farmer, though. And you're homeless. That's what this little thing means. He's homeless. So he went and got himself some food. Now he's, house stone is working. Averin is placing inventory in storage. What are you placing in storage? Probably tools or something. Oh, wood. And now she's getting something to eat. She's not homeless. So what she's going to do is she's going to go over to her house. And she's going to go ahead and grab something to eat. Let's see which house she lives in. She lives in this first house. So as you see, they don't actually go into the house. She pulled some stuff. And now she's a laborer. See? She's not a farmer anymore. So that means 2 other people got assigned to be a farmer just based off of job tasks and stuff that have to be pulled out. Alright. So great. Now we're going to have these guys out here building this. So we have everything here. We have 15 out of 15 removed, which is fantastic. We have 34 logs, 12 stone. We are actually looking pretty good on resources. So the builders should be coming out. Here they are. The builders are going to be coming out here and building some of that stuff, which is fan-fucking-tastic. Woo! Our little town's coming together, the little town of Graveyard. And look at that! The corn's coming in. Great! Hopefully it'll be all ready by the time the winter hits. It's 6% right now, but we're in the beginning of summer. This is going to be rough. This is going to be close. I think different foods have different times that they mature, if you will. And as you can see, these guys are still reaping these fields. I'm going to actually knock up the farmers a little bit to give them an additional help to get them through this. And then here we go. A child named Erlin was born. Congratulations. Children can only be born in houses. So here we go. Erlin is 0, born from Talon and Elizabeth, now 13 and 21. Don't ask how that math works. I don't know how the math works in this place. But you got 2 13-year-olds, and they got a 5-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 6-year-old. The kids actually mature really quick. People have tried to do the mathematical equation of like how old people actually are. Alright, great. So the Hunter's Lodge is done. So we're going to want to go ahead and get 2 hunters at least, which means our labor pool is going to drop significantly. But once we go ahead and build this, we don't really need builders anymore. We can keep 1 builder on hand. They'll go ahead and be a laborer default. And then that person will just kind of come up and do roads and stuff that you can do for the wintertime. I find that during the summer and the spring and the fall, it's better to make things that, like your big things, that will help you. So for example, your farms, your food production, your granaries, all this kind of stuff, you want to go ahead and make them during that time period. But if you wait until winter to do all your useless shit, like putting down your roads, building the church. I hate saying building church is useless, but it doesn't help you survive. All your survival stuff you want to do as quickly as you can during the spring and summer. Your fall and winter, you can kind of bullshit around, and that's when you want to, use your builders to make roads. You don't need them to make something that's going to be essential for life. All right, fantastic. All right, so these guys are over here. They're putting down the resources. Great, fantastic. And then we're going to be, how's our stone looking? We got 52 stone, 50 wood. Our firewood is down quite a bit. We only have 50 of it stored. So we're definitely going to want to get a woodcutter up and running. Now, I personally like to put the woodcutter as close to this fucking storage place as possible. Because if you don't, they're going to be walking all over fucking town putting wood there. So we're going to go ahead and put the woodcutter here. We'll assign a woodcutter. And then we can, in the very beginning, we don't really need foresters. We can just go ahead and cut down trees. What a forester does, this thing right here, this forester lodge, bottom right corner, you didn't see that pop up. What a forester lodge is you put these things in the middle of these wooded areas. Like I'll probably have one over here. And it'll just work back here. What they'll do is they'll go around to these trees that are really old and are about to fall down. If you pay attention, you may notice some trees like will just collapse for no reason. They don't ever hurt people, at least not that I know of. But the trees will get old and die, and then you see a little. See, there we go. One just collapsed, and there's another one over there, and another one. But you have these little babby trees that grow. Look at the little babby babby trees. Look, there's one right here. It's a little babby. It's a babby tree. I think this is a babby tree too. I could be wrong. Look, it's another little babby tree. The babby trees grow up and they get to be bigger. When you clear cut, it cuts down everything. It doesn't matter the maturity of the tree. But what a forester will do is find the old trees, cut them down before they fall down, and take their resources. Then they'll plant a bunch of little babby trees everywhere. So it allows a forest to maintain its fullness and still produce lumber. Now, it is an incredibly slow way to produce lumber. But if you have 2 or 3 of these things posted around here, it's like if you made one here, one here, one here, made a central storage unit, you know, somewhere down here, and then they just kind of went and dropped it all off of the storage unit, then this can actually produce quite a bit of lumber. But it's not going to be as much as if you just fucking clear cut everything. Alright, so we're going to need some gatherers. So I'm just going to go ahead and put 2 gatherers, which means we have no laborers. But I'm going to go ahead and cut down the builders. And our little thing here looks like it should be almost done. There we go. We just need the build time. Fucking phenomenal. The little town's looking good. Look, they're harvesting. It came in time. Great. Fantastic. Now we should see the corn starting to gather up in here. Good, because we were down pretty low on food. This is your total food in here. This is the amount of food stored. So we have 651 food stored. Of that, we have 173 venison. That's from the Hunter's Lodge. We have 384 potato, 290 corn. The Hunter's Lodge also produces leather. Leather can be used to produce hide coats. So there you go. And we have plenty of tools too. We have 30 tools, which is fucking fantastic. We don't have to rush that. I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but Cliver was born. A child named Cliver. There we go. I'm going to hold off on clearing out resources, and I'm also going to hold off on building more houses for our homeless people until wintertime hits. Because once wintertime hits, everything's going to kind of slow to a crawl, so we can send these guys out here to go destroying all of nature in its glory. Right now, we're kind of wanting them to focus on doing more important things. Well, in fact, we should probably have them go start clearing woods. So let's go ahead and have them harvest trees. Let's go ahead and have them harvest all this shit here. This here, yeah, that's fine. And then we can harvest all this. You don't need all this stuff here. So now, what's left of our labor pool will now go out and start harvesting these trees, or people who just aren't actively doing their jobs. It's actually going to take them a while to get through all that. Now, you might think, well, with all these babbies being born, what does it matter whether people are homeless? Well, if they're homeless, this game is mechanicked so that way the homeless don't produce children. And these kids will never move out of their fucking parents' house until they have their own house. And the kids won't have babbies while they're living with their parents. There's no sexy time in this house, damn it, while you're living there. Only mom and daddy have sexy time. No kids can have sexy time. So there you go. That's kind of a big reasoning for it. So you kind of always want to be producing houses, so that way all of your residents have houses, so they all produce babbies, and then those babbies can go and move out of their house, move into their own houses, and whatnot. Houses become available when you tear them down, or because it kicks out the residents, or an older couple in the house dies. Now what you're going to start having, and what we might see in the future, is a ton of houses with one person inside of it, and they're all like 70 fucking years old. And then you have like 10 houses with one people in it, and then you have like a whole bunch of houses that, you know, have a bunch of people that need to move out, and you're like, would you just fucking die already? There's a way to evict the residents, but I don't really remember how to do it. I think like you have to set the house to be torn down, and then you cancel that, and then like they get kicked out, and then they'll move into a house with another older person. I mean, it's a really fucked up way to do it because it's basically like, we're going to tear down your house. You need to move. They move, and then we just kind of shove in like a younger family in there. And they're like, but that was my house for the last 50 years. It's like, well, you know what? We're poor. We can't afford any house. See? He's cutting down little baby. It's going to produce like no fucking wood. See? Here we go. We have giant mushrooms and onions. That's what these are. So people will come by and sow these. Maybe. I don't know. Probably not. But this is what the gatherers actually, they'll come by and pick up like these berries, the little onions and stuff like that. They'll come by and pick all that stuff up, and then that's what will go in here. So here we go. We have onions. We have 22 onions. We have 32 roots, which is great. We have 22 berries. Fantastic. Fantastic. What else did we get in here? I know somebody just added some shit in here. More onions, maybe more leather. I don't know. I didn't get to see what it was. So there they go. They're cutting down all that stuff. Fucking great. Now we need a woodcutter. So let's go ahead and get one woodcutter in here. It's one of one. We only want about, I'm gonna say 100 fuel. Right now we're sitting at 50. So we kind of want to be careful because we don't want to burn through all of our fucking logs, because this little asshole will. So what he'll do is, hey, where are you going? You're not working, you son of a bitch. Oh, I guess what he's doing is he's getting fresh logs. Typically what happens is, oh, he's a laborer. Oh, my bad. I thought he was a woodcutter. Alright. So what this guy is going to do is he's going to come over here, make some choppy noises, and then he's going to cut up all this wood into little piles. Then he's going to grab these piles, throw them into the little storage area here. And, you know, once he has enough piles, there you go. Now he's going to pick all these things up, put them in the storage area, grab some logs, and come back. That's why it's really important to have these guys really close to this. So that way he doesn't have to walk all over the goddamn place. See, now he fucking stored them in there. He should be getting some more logs, which I think he did. And then he'll go over here and then start chopping more. And then this is this guy's life until we get, see, right now we have 66 firewood. Until we get 100. Once it's 100, then he'll stop working. There'll be a big like question mark here, I think. And then he'll just kind of carry on. So right now, we don't have anything here. There's nothing to yield. I wonder if we can do potatoes. Because it's a little late, but I think potatoes can be grown in winter. I'm not sure. You also don't have to rotate your crops. That's also another thing. You don't have to rotate them, which is fucking phenomenal, I think. Wonderful. Alright, looks like everything's going by pretty good. We have one builder, one laborer, so that's all we got right now. We have 104 logs stored, and we're going to want some more resources as well. So let's go ahead and we're going to do a clear cut option. And we're going to want to clear cut. Fuck. I need the iron. So what we'll do is we'll I'll have them clear cut this iron. Iron takes a while to fucking break down, so I don't want to do all of it. But I eventually want to clear out all the iron and stone out of this area, and then I won't mind chopping down some more woods over here. I do want to, however, preserve as much woods as I can inside this circle here. So I'll probably clear all this, and then we'll have to build a bridge here pretty soon and start clearing out all this wood and stuff over here so we can continue building houses. The problem with foresters is that if we stuck a forester right here in the middle, he would spend more time clearing stone and iron to put down fucking trees than he would actually collecting trees. So it's a good idea to clear out all this kind of rubble before you put one in there. At least that's my opinion. That's how I see it done. Look at all this iron back here. We can go ahead and clear all this out too. In fact, let me go ahead and highlight all this stuff here. All these like little berries and shit. All this can actually be harvested. There we go. So somebody will come out here and just fucking reap this stuff, and just, that'll add to our food. I think these are wild onions. I think these are roots, I believe. And then this is mushrooms. See how we're looking. 130 potatoes, not good. We have about 600 corn. And then we have a lot of venison, a lot of onions. I think we'll be doing okay. This isn't the best situation that we're in, people, but it's definitely not the worst. Okay, so here's this little arrow with the thing. It means it's reached its cap. That's why he's no longer producing anything. And That's why he also has some already stored in here. So when this dips, when the firewood dips a little bit, so we have 110 in here, when it dips under like 100, he'll come over here, chop down some more, and then that's it. Until then, everything we put in here is a positive resource. And it looks like we still have a little bit of space left, so that's fine. Once they finish clearing out all the stone, I think we're going to be good to build another house. And I'm thinking, I want to see how this is going to work. Oh, that's remove road. Where's my roads? Okay, this should be alright. I'm definitely going to want to build a bridge. Do I want to build a bridge here? I could. It's going to take 48 logs and 12 stone, which is not that bad. We'll build a bridge there. That's fine. Then we can go ahead and build a road come across here. Do you see it's snowing? And then we can put houses on this side of the road over here as well. It's not really wise to put all your houses in one location and everything out to the fields, because people will go home to eat and they will go home to warm up and all this kind of stuff. So if you have all of your fields way out in the outstretches of the map, and then their houses are all clumped together, they're literally going to spend all their time walking back and forth, and that is kind of a pain. You don't want that to happen. Our food's doing pretty good. We're sitting at about 985 food. So I mean, it's not too bad. It could be a lot worse. I think what I'm going to end up doing is getting rid of this farm eventually, and I'm going to start moving the farmland. I'll probably put the forester over here. Then we'll start clearing out all this of stone and rock, and then allow more animals to come over here, and then there'll be a perpetual forest. That's a really good idea. And then I'll start putting this for farmlands. I think that'll work. We're going to go ahead and keep this thing here centralized. This will be our food resource gathering island strip here. I think that's what we'll do with this. And then this will be their actual town proper, and then we can go ahead and get a marketplace in the middle and surrounded by towny stuff. I think that's a plan. So I guess in that instance, we don't really need to clear all this out just yet. Anyway, we'll eventually get to it. Oh, okay, it stopped snowing. Great. It's a pretty mild winter. It's only 34 degrees out there. You'll start seeing people with little snowflakes on their heads. All these people with little houses, they're homeless. But when you start seeing people with little snowflakes on their heads, that means they're cold and they're freezing. 35 degrees and it's raining. That's gotta be fucking freezing. Let's boost the time a little bit. Great. Oh, here they go. They're starting to build the bridge. Cool thing is they don't have to like get around to the other side. They can build all the bridge from one area, so that helps out a lot. It's taking a lot of resources. Lots of stone. There we go. Now all that needs to be done is just to build it. It's actually going to be a pretty nice bridge, actually. I can tell already. Because sometimes, like, you'll have, like, this little pillar, but then there'll be, like, another little pillar here, and it just kind of looks funky. It looks like it's nice, actually balanced. Which is good. It's good. There we go. See? Look at the little bridge. Look at that. In fact, I could probably put the school here. Yeah, in fact. We can go ahead and put a school here. It's not going to be... Oh, Jesus Christ, that's fucking huge. That's really fucking big. Actually, it fits perfectly. Look at that. It fits fucking perfectly. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and put the school here. And then we'll line the next to it with houses. And then this will be a small little farming housing community. And then we'll put more houses along back here. And then all the kids can come over here to school. That'll work. Yeah. See, that's all coming together. We actually have enough resources for this too. So let's go ahead and do that. And the bridge is completely done, so now people have access to come over here, but we don't have any jobs over there, so they're not really going to. But little Timmy is going to go exploring. Bye, little Timmy. Once the schoolhouse is built, then we'll assign a teacher. The teacher will go out and... Oh, look at that. Justiny has become an adult, Yoshi has become an adult, and Anti has become an adult. So we got 3 more adults, our labor pool went up. Everybody automatically becomes laborers. Unfortunately, you're going to be uneducated, but we want to go ahead and take advantage of the fact that we have still older educated people to come and educate our youth. That kind of sucks that we don't have them. Oh, look at spring! What a mild winter. Alright, so we got all the farmers going out there doing their thing, which is fucking fantastic. We're going to go ahead and bump up our gatherer, which is great. Wow, we just sped right through winter. That was a really mild winter. We had no problems, no issues. We have still plenty of food. We have 1,000 food, which is fucking fantastic. The only thing that we have left to do, let's go ahead and get another builder on the scene here, just to help out with the schoolhouse, because now we're going to go ahead and start clearing all this shit. Let's go ahead and get resources. Let's go ahead and get stone. We only have 16, so let's go ahead and gather all this stone here. Get rid of that stone right there. Our laborers should come over here, get rid of all this stone, and then we need to assign a teacher. So let's go ahead and get a teacher. Teacher. Here we go. 1 teacher. Now teacher will go ahead and have class, and all the students will come over to the class. Great. Look at that. Look at that. The farm's looking great. We're growing potato this time because I think we're out of potato. We only have 68. We have plenty of corn, though. It's a good idea to keep variety in your people's diets as much as possible. It helps prevent illness and sickness. It looks like we got another laborer. Marlena has become an adult and is working as a laborer. Fantastic. So now we have a nice little boost to our population. Our population is we have 14 adults, 0 students, and 5 children. But this 0 will turn here pretty quick. So they have 0 students right now. Let's give it a little bit of time. I think all the kids are... No. We have some kids that are school-aged. They should all be starting to become students, I think, once they wander over there to the school. So the next priority, after clearing out all that stone, which it looks like they did, is to go ahead and build some more houses. So we're definitely going to want some more stone houses. Let's go ahead... And do we want them here? Or do we want to start building the houses on the other side of the river? I kind of want to start building houses on this side of the river, and it looks like we're all clear on this side. Okay, that looks like that's where the road is going to have to go. I'm just trying to see where our limits are. Okay, there we go. So we'll build a house there, and we will also build a house here like that. Now, we're definitely not going to have the resources for this. We're going to need a lot more stone. We're going to need a lot more iron. I know we're going to iron, but we're going to need a lot more stone, a lot more wood. But that's okay because we can go ahead and start clearing out all this shit over here. So as far as wood is concerned, clear all that because we're going to have to clear it anyway. And hopefully they're going to be smart enough and not dump resources into both. And then, you know, we're going to have 2 incomplete houses. It looks like they're dumping everything into the first lot, which is great. And I think this is actually going to be a pretty good design because it'll allow people to live here in the middle, and it will separate them between working in the fields and I guess their play, so they'll constantly have to pass by their houses. You see what I mean? I think that'll work out pretty well, I think. And it'll tie these areas in together really nicely. And they have a lot of riverside property, which is wonderful. Looks like the harvest is going really good as far as potatoes are concerned. Great, great. Look there. Our potatoes are going to start flying through the roof. There we go. We already got 250. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Looks like everything's coming together pretty nicely, pretty nicely. Next priority, I think, is once we get these houses up and running, we have enough houses for everybody, and we don't have any more homeless people. How many students do you have? You have 2 students. Fantastic. The next priority is these tools. We're definitely going to want to get a blacksmith. We're probably going to want to get a tailor. The reserve of logs is... Oh, okay, logs. I thought it was saying firewood. Well, yeah, we know that. That's why they're going down here and cutting down all these trees. As you can see, our health decreased a little bit. We're probably also going to want to start looking into getting an herbalist. This might actually be a good spot for an herbalist, unless we make that more farming land. We could actually extend another farm here and make this more farming land. And in fact, we can dot this entire area with farms. And I think that's what we'll do. We'll do this area as farms. We'll do this area as a medicinal gathering area, and then we'll have the rest of this property here. And then we can, if we need like ranches and stuff, we can put them over here. I think that'll work. I think that'll work. This little thing here means that we're low on a resource, and so our stone is incredibly low. So we'll want to go ahead and collect stone, which we will go ahead and collect stone from here. I'm going to start systematically getting rid of all this stone. I think that's it. I think we're going to go ahead and cut it. So thanks everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me here on Banished today. I hope you guys are enjoying this series because I love this fucking game. Let me know what you guys think on the bottom. I'm going to make a weekend of this if you guys really like it, and you can show me that by either leaving a like or a comment saying I like it. If you're not one for talking, hit a like button. If you are not one for, you know, hitting the like button, leave a comment and be like, hey, no, I thought this was fucking great. And then go ahead and hit that button or something, or like it or comment it. Let me know if you guys think I should continue this. If so, then I think I'll make this like a regular weekend thing, and maybe if I get a little bit more time, I'll be able to do this, and then maybe like another series on the weekend, specifically just for the weekend. You know, have some longer videos for you guys to watch over that time period. But yeah, when we come back, we're going to go ahead and start working on a blacksmith. We're going to go ahead and start working on some more of these houses. We're going to want to clear all this stuff out, put a forester there. We have lots and lots to do. And of course, obviously start putting more farms so we can gather more food for all of our people. Because Tabathalai has become a student. So, thanks everybody. Thanks for watching. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out, everybody.